Gemini, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for mid-March 2025. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Gemini collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for the beautiful Geminis in mid-March? What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Gemini in mid-March. What's the vibe? What's the energy? Let's get this first card out nice and quick for you, my friends. There we go. Ask and you shall receive. And we do have the Fool card showing up. Now, this is not a tarot deck. It's an oracle, but I'm sure, as you can see, we have this jester. So lots of little symbolism that link into the Fool card. So this could be really good. I feel like that's a complimentary for a lot of Geminis. The only issue here could be spontaneity in one reason or another. But before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the March subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, into the reading. Let's talk a little more in depth about this card. So as I mentioned, you see this feminine figure. She has the jester hat on. And if you look closer, I'm not sure if you could see it, there's little renditions of the Fool card at her feet. So I think of all those beautiful energies that encapsulate it. Now, for some of you, you might be connected to an Aries. Maybe you have some Aries placements yourself. But what do we know about Aries? It's the initiator. It's the first sign of the zodiac. And the Fool is the first card of the tarot. So this is great for new things. It's great for new adventures. There's a sense of optimism. It's a very jovial type of card, lighthearted. So I really do like this energy to lead us off, because even if you're going through some struggles or situations, this card does come in to lighten the mood, and that's really nice. There's a sense of excitement whenever this card shows up, so I do like it. And Aries energy does mesh pretty well with Gemini, so I feel like this is good for you for the most part. But like I already mentioned, the big issue with the Fool card is that sometimes it could do things without thinking them through. Sometimes it could be a little spontaneous. So there might be a little bit of a warning there in this time about like doing things that you wouldn't normally do, or just being very sporadic in your ways. Okay, listen, no judgment here. But whenever I see the Fool card, I'm like, okay, well, maybe calm something down. Don't be too spontaneous, but we're going to leave it over there. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Let's shuffle it up one time here for the beautiful Geminis, please. And while we get this shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. It was different, that's for sure. The reading was titled The Surprising Rejection. And the reason it was titled that is, to me, it felt like there was something that you did like, but then you didn't. It's like a change of mind or a change of heart, where it's like, oh, well, I did want that, but maybe I don't. There could be like internal tugs of war in this time, and that energy could lead over for a few weeks now, so keep that in mind. But we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone, so only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else's, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for my beautiful Gemini friends. What do we got in mid-March? Please, what we got going on? Thank you. Hanged Man. Okay. Wasn't expecting that with the Fool card as our oracle, because this card does not seem to be doing much, at least on the surface. Let's get him tucked in here by the amethyst. We'll explore that a little further. But I usually like to start a spread with an action card, and the Hanged Man is the total opposite of that. He's not doing much. He's just hanging around. Okay, there we go. Queen of Swords. That's one of your power cards. Remember, it's not gender specific. Let's get one more out here. Notice she has like her back turned to that Hanged Man. Interesting. Let's get one more. Thank you. 9 of Swords. Okay. So this energy is a little high strung, and we will talk about it. Definitely want to watch your stress levels when that card's out here. But let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, then we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. But at first glance, I feel like most of this could be in your comfort zone, because you know I always look at the elements first, and obviously we have a lot of swords. Swords are air. Gemini is air. So it's the realm of thought, logic, and also communication. So for a lot of Geminis, even if it's not ideal, even if there is a little bit of a stress type of energy, it's like, I could work with this. The good thing about air energy, it moves quick. So any problematic energies, it's like, all right, we're just passing through. But with this Hanged Man, that's a little more complex, right? Some people say it's Pisces, some people say Virgo, some people say Scorpio. So that's like a water earth mixture type of vibe I pick up here, and it's not really doing too much. But notice there's this little ignoring that's happening between the Queen and the Hanged Man. So it's going to be intriguing to see how all the energy plays off each other. Let's go through piece by piece and really start to build this out, though. So position number one, we are starting with the Hanged Man. So we are starting with a card that's not doing a damn thing. So for some of you, watch out for issues that seem to be lingering, thought processes, anything really. It's like, oh, well, that's there, and it's not really budging, it's not really moving. There's positives to this card. So again, it can link into the zodiac signs we already discussed. But the Hanged Man is a retracted, pulled back type of energy. It's not doing anything physically, but it is watching. This is one of my cards of observing or watching something. So very similar to the Page of Swords. So whether it's a situation that you need to keep your eye on, don't turn your back to it. You got to keep an eye on this thing. It could be a person that's watching your moves. Maybe you're keeping an eye on somebody else's. It's like, all right, you got to keep one eye on this, Gemini. I don't want to get too intuitive yet, but that's kind of what I'm already picking up. It could be a card of strategy and planning, but it's not doing a lot. Internally it is, externally it's not. The Hanged Man can represent delays. It can represent stubborn things. It's also a card of self-sacrifice. If you're the type of person where you put other people's well-being ahead of yours, that could be an energy you're in right now. But moving to the center, and we'll see whether that's problematic or whether it's good. But moving to the center, we have the Queen of Swords, one of your power cards. And this does represent a similar energy that I've been seeing for you in recent weeks. Now, again, it's not gender specific. It could be you. It could be another air sign. So another Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And the Queen of Swords is no nonsense, no BS. The positives of her, she's very honest, she's very straightforward, extremely strategic and plan-based. So it's interesting that we have this Hanged Man and this Queen of Swords. There's a lot of strategy, there's a lot of planning in both of these cards. So we want to see what's going on. Who's mapping something out? Who's planning something? Could be a good thing. I mean, I guess it all really depends. Now, the Queen of Swords, she's not messing around, she's not playing games. She will remove certain things if they're not working for her. So that's another thing to keep in mind. There might be certain habits or behaviors where you're like, you know what, I can't feed into that. We're putting that to the side. The rough side of the Queen of Swords is that she can sometimes be mean, right? She could be very cold with her words. This is a card of communication. She could be very harsh with her wording. So when I see her, it's a little confrontational. We just need to really watch out for it. It could just be a talk of some kind as well. And she also often shows up when one is dealing with serious situations. But again, in my style, since it's one of your power cards, it can represent, I mean, something that's coming towards you or things you might be experiencing. So we definitely want to clarify her. Very important. Notice her back is turned to that Hanged Man. So that could tell us that there's either something you're not paying attention to or something that you're not quite seeing. Now, on the back end, we have the Nine of Swords. I always say with this card, you don't need to be an expert in tarot to understand what this means. We see a person, they're sitting up in bed, they're stressing out, they got the face in the hands, the whole nine. Now, this could just represent sleep issues, right? You could be having like really funky, vivid dreams in this time. You might have a little insomnia when this card is in the mix, but it is very stressed, anxious, on edge, nervous type of energy. So whether that's an energy you're bringing in or somebody else, we really want to look at this further because, yeah, with the Hanged Man and all the stuff we have going on, it's like, all right, well, the energies can move forward, but some of these can be problematic for sure. Another thing I'll mention with the Nine of Swords, it is one of my cards that I link to the paranormal. So you might be feeling energy is stronger than you normally do when this card is here. Your intuition could be heightened when this card is here. I mean, if you have it on a regular basis, it could be extra heightened. But I want to dive deeper on all of this, Gemini. So let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. What do we got for our Gemini friends, please? And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on that Hanged Man. And yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Gemini, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, why is the Hanged Man here? please. What's going on? There's our pal chilling out there. Take a little break, take a little rest from something. We do have the 10 of Wands in reverse. That could be good. Sometimes the best course of action is no action. And for some of you, depending on the situations you're dealing with, that could very well be a piece of advice or something Spirit's trying to convey. When I have the Hanged Man and 10 of Wands in reverse, it's like I just need a second to catch my breath for one reason or another. Now, 10s in tarot can represent the close of a cycle or an ending. So when I see it underneath the Hanged Man, that could sometimes represent an energy that's looping back around to you. I'll see if we get any more themes of that, of things like popping back up or returning. I know Gemini gets that from time to time. But I will say this, the 10 of Wands is one of the cards that I link into health and well-being, specifically physical. So watch areas like your neck, back, and spine when this card shows up. But seeing it in reverse, it's releasing a burden. Underneath the Hanged Man, not really doing too much. So again, with whatever situations you're dealing with, you might want to just like pause or take your time with it or not make any moves for the time being. That could be the case. Either that or it's just something that's at rest. It's like, I need a little break. Give me a second. I just need to catch my breath. That's like the vibe I'm picking up here. So we're just going to keep moving. It doesn't feel like super major, but another thing I'm picking up now as we move over towards the Queen, the Hanged Man with the 10 Wands, it's problem solving too. So there is like planning going on. There is some sort of strategy like, all right, well, what's the easiest way to do this? There's got to be an easier way. Okay, so there is something being strategized and planned. Let's move over to the Queen of Swords. We'll see what she has. So why is that Queen of Swords in the mix here for my Gemini friends? Why is she here? Starting the upright. All right, if I ignore it, maybe it'll go away. I don't know why that popped out. I don't know why that message came out. I do like the star in the upright underneath this Queen of Swords because to me, it does say that there's some really good potential energy moving towards the Geminis. Remember, the star card it's Aquarius, so it's one of your fellow air signs, but it is a card of wish fulfillment, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, being very optimistic. So for another portion of you, this could be Spirit saying like, hey, listen, Gemini, you got some really great stuff coming in. Try to be a little optimistic and see the silver lining with whatever it is you're dealing with. Not always easy to do. Easier said than done, of course. The star to me is big picture energy. Okay, so for a lot of Geminis, things you're going through right now might be affecting you in the long term. But I love this. To me, this is an energy of win and victory. But I was getting that initial message in the beginning. The Queen, notice she has her back turned to this, and the star, it's like, all right, well, maybe if I don't think about it, it'll go away. Or maybe if I ignore it, there's this type of energy showing up. I'm not saying whether that's a good or a bad thing to do, but it's just presenting itself. It's like, all right, if I don't feed it energy, maybe it'll get better. So there could be certain situations. Remember, I did say there's this like energy of not feeding energy to something. It's like the more you feed it, the worse it's going to be. So let's keep moving. This energy is ignoring, but there is this plan-based type of vibe. Like I said, with this Hanged Man, there's got to be an easier way to do something. Very optimistic. There's a lot of strategy happening. So whether it's you or somebody else, whatever it is you're dealing with, you might want to go like step by step by step. Like, don't be sporadic like we saw the Fool in the beginning. But let's see why the 9 of Swords is here. Let's see what's up with that. Then we'll do a quick little recap before we get into the shadow. So why is the 9 of Swords here? Thank you. I don't like this. I'm not a big fan of this. Because it's like, yeah, the energy starts getting better. It gets good in the center, but we have the 9 of Swords with the 7 of Swords in the upright underneath it. And I've been seeing the 7 of Swords for a lot of zodiac signs this week. You're not the only one. I always say that that could be an important warning when it's here because it could represent the unknown. Now, for some of you, you might be a little anxious about the unknowns with a situation. It's like, all right, well, is there something else I don't know about? Is there something else that went on that I never caught wind of it? What if this happens? What if that happens? There's a lot of what ifs in the energy I'm picking up here on the back end. The 9 of Swords, remember, it's stressing out. The 7 of Swords, the unknown or other people's motives. I think it's very important to keep in mind. I mean, yes, this can represent an individual that is not very trustworthy. It could be a person you need to watch out for. And it's interesting, like, yeah, we have this energy that attached to you is beautiful, but you might just need to stay in your own lane and not worry about this person, that person, because their outside energy could affect you in some rough ways. So there might be a very specific individual to keep an eye on in this time, especially with this. Now, the Seven of Swords, again, it could just represent mystery, the unknown. So this could be someone that's like stressed and anxious about how something's going to turn out, or fear of the unknown, of course. But a big vibe I'm picking up here, it's like a downer. It's a real downer of the energy. It could be an important warning about a specific person that you need to be beware of, right? Like you can't ignore it. You got to keep an eye on it. You might want to ignore it. You might want to just put it completely out of mind, but you need to at least stay aware of how they're moving. That's just how it feels to me. Let's go through and do a quick recap. Not a big fan of how that ended, but it is what it is, right? Energy comes and goes and it moves. Luckily, there's a lot of air here, so it does tell me the energy will pass. That's a good thing. But if you kindly look in the box before the shadow, we have the Hanged Man and the Ten of Wands in reverse. And I was getting that vibe like, all right, well, I need a rest. I need a break. Watch your physical health and well-being. I feel somebody just planning and strategizing an easier way to get something done or an easier way to do something. And with this energy on the back end, all this strategy, I'm not a huge fan. I'm not. Moving to the center, we have the Queen of Swords with the star in the upright. Seemingly the best part of this whole entire reading is attached to the Gemini energy for one reason or another. Spirit could be telling you to try to be optimistic. And I also got this energy like if I ignore it, maybe it'll go away. Or if I don't pay attention to it, maybe it'll starve it of the energy, which is true to a point. But I still feel like there's something you need to keep your awareness on. There is good energy long term. That's the beauty. Moving to the back end, we have the Nine of Swords with the Seven of Swords. For some of you, it could be as simple as just fear of the unknown. This could be an important warning about a person that you need to keep a close eye on. So it's like maybe you shouldn't ignore it completely. Maybe there's something else you still need to take a look at when this energy is here on the back. So Gemini, please take a screenshot of that if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Let's get a good shuffle here. What do we got in the shadows for my Geminis, please? Good, Spirit team. And yes, I always like to pull one of these at the very end, just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They can be a good thing. So let's get you one. Oh, and yes, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel. I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this going here. So much Seven of Swords. Okay. Six of Cups, blast from the past type of energy, huh? Now, I don't dislike the Six of Cups. It can talk about soul ties, soul connections, soulmates, things like that. That could be affecting or linked to your energy in one way or another. But the Six of Cups, aside from important connections, could be a card of history, the past. So don't be surprised if in this time you're taking some trips down memory lane, or things you haven't thought of for like years just suddenly pop into your brain when the Six of Cups is here. It's not a bad card. It's really not. But it is a card of the past. Just know that your past doesn't always predict your future, right? Like who you were in the past and the things you've been through, it doesn't guarantee what you're going to go through in the future. I think that's an important insight and outlook to have whenever this card is here. It can be really good. For some of you, if this is an important person, they could hopefully show up in a better energy than you're expecting. But a big thing I pick up with this is just watch out for repeating cycles, repeating past cycles, letting things back in. So Gemini, that's what I have for you, my beautiful friends. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details. The March subscriber surprise. If you would like to book a personal reading with me and get a little glimpse into whatever situations you're dealing with, you can check out my digital calendar on my website, mastermetaphysics.com. The March schedule is up and live, but for the March subscriber surprise, giving away 3 copies of one of my most favorite decks, the Everyday Witches Tarot. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things, as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed, and second, let me know down in the comments, where in this beautiful big world are you from? I'll go first. I'm from New Jersey, and you could just put it down in the comments and you'll be entered to win. And at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll talk to you soon.